Important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
At that stage ever doesn't exist. Because when a superfoodist finally says, okay, I'm turning the juice on, like Dr. Cassar is done, guess what's going to happen? He's going to pass up all that other stuff that we've ever seen, right?
Where would we start here? Okay. I'm not warmed up. I'm all cold.
Want to jump on this and I'll hold the mic for you?
Yeah, you know, one of the big things you got to realize here, you got to realize you may have some brain sand, okay? And what's brain sand? Because you're going to flip upside down right here and you're going to put in 200 pounds of pressure into your brain that normally only has 5 pounds of pressure of mercury. Your feet have 200 pounds on it because that's the bottom of the lake. Okay? So when I flip over like this, let me show you here for a second. And this is one of the best ways. You know, we have a lot of sludge in our brains. We have a lot of sludge in our brains, okay? Sludge. And sludge, of course, is because it doesn't have that much motion. You know, when you get an aneurysm, it's called sluggish circulation, breakage. You have a problem where you have vascularization, ischemia, which means you have a lack of blood flow to the brain. So when you flip upside down in this, you're going to increase the amount of blood flow to your brain, not significantly, immensely. Okay? So if I flip around, I'm going to show you here for a sec. This is what I do at home. In order to be able to really clean your brain out, you have to get on a really good alkaline diet. You can't play around and do this here because this is, there's a friend of mine the other day, 53 years old, went ahead and had an aneurysm in the brain, okay? Most people have sulfuric acid poisoning. What's that? That's when the parts of calcium and different types of heavy metals and synthetics actually come together and poison the vascular system. So this is going to really put pressure on the vascular system. So this is where it's, you know, this is something where it's actually really super healthy to do, but then again, you have to be careful. If you feel dizzy or you have any type of headaches and things, you have to be careful. Take it time, a little bit at a time. Let me try this here. So, one of the things I'm going to do here is just a simple headstand, and this is one of the things you can sort of test yourself to. If you can do this on the ground, you're pretty advanced, but if you can't, then you have to go really slow, because if you don't, then you can actually hurt yourself in a lot of different ways. Remember, this is reverse inversion therapy. You're going anti-gravity here. Remember, you're gravitational all your life. You're going to go anti-gravity here. Okay, this is a different thing for the electrical system, for the physiology system to take. So if you can actually do this type of motion and keep it in balance, keep your eyes closed, okay? And you know you probably don't have brain sand, or you have very minimal, okay? And what you're doing is just really trying to see if you can see with your eyes closed, so you can see if you have reverse balance. Okay? And you notice, I can talk through this pretty easy, and I have my eyes closed, which is a whole different type of motion. So if you can do this like this, this is something I couldn't do a little while ago. Okay? Yeah, same. actually do that, then you're pretty advanced. I wouldn't really worry about too many problems with having brain sap. Okay, remember, it's keeping the eyes closed tells you if you actually have some balance. Half of the problem we have, we try to put a lot of strength, and we actually need balance at the same time. So you can only actually get so far before you actually get stifled and totally, you know. Let me say, hold on, let me take my breath. I can spend quite a bit of time on here. It depends on if you want to find out if you want to look at this as a medical side. We can look at that. Or we can look at this as we want to be more flexible and we want to be able to do these, okay? Or a lot of times we just want to go ahead and increase vascularization. So this machine does a lot of stuff. You can start out super basic or you can actually get really super advanced. What I do is I spend about an hour and a half at night watching television and I just hang on it. I do all different types of things and I'll actually do a few things here. So what I do is sometimes watching TV, what you're really trying to do is anti-gravity the joints. And when you're moving, we're not moving straight lines. Gravity doesn't do that, so this is the perfect machine so you can actually do circle motions. And circle motions is really where your body can start to unwind. I'll show you here for a second. I don't know how good this thing's hooked up, so. So a lot of the motions in this is really, you're trying to go ahead and actually increase vascularizational flow. And when you do this, you don't just hang. You can. Remember, more advanced, you're going to want to flex your muscles and move yourself around. So while you're hanging like this, what you're doing is actually unwinding yourself. You're flexing all your muscles, and you can't do this in any motion possible anywhere. I can grab this up like this and start bending, twisting, and becoming more like gravitational. And this really, really unwinds you because there's no specific form you're doing. What you're doing is you're just trying to go ahead and actually balance from the last position you did. So this is the way I use this. I use this more with no form. I just uncrack myself all over the way, this way. And so that's just one piece. You're just trying to crack yourself, break yourself apart. Now, some of the other things here, like I said, this is a 2-hour piece of machinery. It's the best thing I have ever used in my life to be able to unwind this body that became so tight. Okay? In 1997, I destroyed two low back, L4, L5, L5S1 vertebra. Destroyed them. Okay? So I walked around like this, and if I could touch my toes, it was from here. Okay? So I didn't really care. I was disabled, beyond disabled. I couldn't do anything. I had to practice. I was seeing 40 to 60 people a day. Okay? 6 days a week. Broke my hand, did all these different injuries. So I really got a total change of life. And the biggest thing is that when we get injured, we get huge amounts of scar tissue that develop inside our joints. Okay? And I call it the spider. And the only way you can unwind the spider is by using this, alkaline foods, decreasing your pollution, increasing your amount of magnetic tune that you become. Okay? And I'm showing people outside, I have purple blood. You want purple blood because you don't get sick. Okay? You can see how my body's more transparent now, okay, than it used to be. So you can see the veins in my stomach. So I couldn't see these a while ago. And what this just shows me is that I've cleaned my lymph system somewhat, and I lost 40 pounds of baggage. 40 pounds. Okay? So everybody has this vascular system underneath their body, and the only way that you can actually regenerate it is to slowly unwind yourself. And the best way I found it is not on the ground. On the ground, I weigh 140 pounds to 135, and I can't take pressure off. I have to keep going, and I get stopped because I basically have to use my weight to use it. But this machine over here, I can cheat, okay? I can take 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, and or I could put someone on below me and do the most fantastic massages, anti-gravity you've ever seen in your life, okay? Try it with one of the bongers, or? Yeah, we can do that too. So, you know, this has multiple different ways, just like this. Let's see. It's a little different handle sizes. And this really, really works good. And so, when you're doing this one here, there we go. When you're doing this one here, what you're doing is you're trying to flex all your muscles, and you're not doing this fast. This isn't a gym motion. And what you're doing is really using your lymph system, and you're squeezing yourself, okay? And it's not a motion like in the gym. This is a squeezing motion. That's what I want to show people, okay? Remember, what you're trying to do is squeeze your lymph system. So what you do is you go on these positions, and this is squeezing me between my legs. It's actually squeezing my whole tissue inside and giving me internal pressure. Okay? So this is a really, 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 I call it badass machine. Badass. I've been doing this all my life, playing around. There's no machines that you can play around with anti-gravity, and it is truly a piece of work to